My greetings to everyone. I am Professor Namita Rajput, Professor in Department of Commerce, Sri Aurobindo College, University of Delhi. In the ongoing series of emotional intelligence, today we will be discussing about the different dynamics and the perspectives and paradigms of leadership and emotional intelligence. Now let's start with the importance of emotional intelligence in leadership. Emotional intelligence equips the leaders with the ability to inspire, guide, and support their teams very effectively. And by applying the principles of emotional intelligence in the areas of communication, conflict resolution, collaboration, motivation, the leaders can create a very positive and a productive environment that drives the success. The leadership styles are very deeply influenced by the emotional intelligence, as leaders must adapt their approaches to inspire, support, and connect with their teams. So, let's explore now how emotional intelligence shapes the four major leadership styles, out of which first we will be discussing about the transformational leadership, that is inspiring through vision and passion. The transformational leaders, they inspire their teams by connecting with their emotions, fostering a very shared sense of purpose. Now, there are some key emotional intelligence traits, that is visionary communications. They articulate a very clear, exciting vision that resonates emotionally with the team, motivating them to strive for the excellence. The empathy and motivation. By understanding the strengths and the challenges of their team members, they provide a very personalized encouragement and create even a small achievement. Empowering trust. They delegate the responsibilities and involve the team in decision making, building the confidence and the ownership. Now, let's take an example. We have to think about a Martin Luther King, that is the Steve Jobs. And the Steve Jobs, both the leaders connected deeply with the people's emotion, inspiring a belief in their vision of the social change or the technological innovations. So, let's discuss a scenario here. A coach believes that their underperforming team can win the championship. Instead of simply demanding more effort, the coach inspires with a vision of victory, acknowledges each player's strength and empowers them to devise a game strategy. This emotional connection boosts the morale and the teamwork. The next is your servant leadership, leading with the care and empathy. The servant leaders prioritize the needs and the growth of their team members, creating a supportive and inclusive environment. There are some key EI traits: empathy and active listening. They genuinely listen to a team member, concerns without the judgment, understanding their emotion and perspectives. The next is your support and guidance. They offer the resources, encouragement, and mentorship to help the team members overcome the challenges and develop their potential. The fostering of inclusion. They create a culture of respect and belongingness, ensuring everyone feels valued and respected. Now, let's take an example here. A manager notices an employee struggling with the stress. So, instead of ignoring it, the manager offers a listening ear, flexible work arrangements, and encouragement, helping the employee regain the confidence and the balance. The scenario is that a team member and a team leader checks in very regularly with their members, offering a very support system through the tough times, celebrating the milestones. This builds a trust, loyalty, and also a strong sense of community. The next is your transactional leadership, creating the structure with the emotional fairness. The transactional leaders focus on achieving the results through a very clear goal structured, the feedback and the performance based rewards or the consequences. There are some key EI traits. The first is your clarity in communication. They set a very clear expectation, ensuring everyone understands their role and responsibilities. The fairness and sensitivity. They provide a very constructive feedback tailored to individual motivations, balancing the performance demands with the emotional awareness. Now, the next is your motivating with recognition. They acknowledge the individual achievements and provide the rewards that align with what inspires each team member. Let's take an example here. A sales manager, they set the targets and offers the bonus for achieving them. And by also understanding each team member, the challenges and providing a tailored support, the manager blends the transactional efficiency with the emotional sensitivity. The scenario is that an employee misses a deadline due to a personal issue. So instead of re-pyramiding them, the leader discusses the situation very calmly, offering a support and strategies for improvement, ensuring the accountability while maintaining the trust also. The fourth type of leadership style and its interconnection with the emotional intelligence is now situational leadership, that is adapting to the emotional and the team needs. The situational leaders are very highly flexible, adjusting their leadership styles based on the team's emotional state experience and also the challenges at hand. Now, there are certain key EI traits. The first is your emotional awareness. They recognize when their team feels confident or overwhelmed, adopting their approach accordingly. Flexibility in the style. They provide more direction during the crisis or with the new teams and grant autonomy when the team is experienced and the self-sufficiency. There's also a building connections. By responding to their team unique needs, they foster a trust and a strong relationships. Let's take an example here. A project manager provides step-by-step guidance to a new team member but gives a seasoned employee the freedom to innovate. So this approach builds the confidence and fosters the mutual respect. The scenario. The leader senses a team is struggling with the uncertainty during a major organizational change. They adapt a very important directive style, offering a very clear instructions and the reassurance. Once the team gains the confidence, the leader shifts to a supportive role, encouraging the independence and the collaboration. Now, the emotional intelligence and the leadership styles. Emotional intelligence enhances every leadership style, enabling the leaders to connect with their teams, adapt to a different situation, and fosters the trust and motivation and collaboration. By understanding and leveraging the EI, the leaders can create a positive and productive environments tailored to the unique needs of their teams. Emotional intelligence is a very crucial skill for the leaders, enabling them to connect with their teams, handle the challenges, and inspire the success. So, here we are now going to discuss the 5 key areas of EI and innovative techniques to help the leaders develop in such areas. The first is your self-awareness, that is knowing yourself. Understanding your emotions and their impact is the foundation of EI. How to develop it? That is the emotion mapping, the mirror feedback. What is emotion mapping? Throughout the day, note your emotions and the situations that have triggered them. Use a simple chart to track the patterns over time. Like, for example, I feel very tense during the team meetings when the deadlines are discussed. Now, there are some mirror feedbacks. After the key interactions, record a short voice demo describing how you think you came across. Later, you can compare it with the feedback from the trusted colleagues. The next is your emotion labels. Use the specific words to describe your feelings like anxious, disappointed, excited. Naming your emotions will always help you process them more effectively. Now, there is our empathy, understanding of others. That is, the empathy allows the leader to connect with their teams on a very deeper level. How do we develop it? The emotion journal. Ask the team members to anonymously write about their biggest challenge at work. Read their entries to gain the insight into their emotions and perspectives. The empathy works. Spend time with your team in their day-to-day work environment. Observe their task interactions and challenges to understand their experiences. Emotional check-ins. Now start meeting with a quick round with everyone. Share how they are feeling. For example, energized, stressed. This will build an emotional awareness across the team. The next is your managing emotions. So we are definitely talking about the different techniques to sail through. Now, when you talk about managing emotions, that is staying calm under the pressure. So, being in control of your own emotion will really help you respond thoughtfully, not react impulsively. Being in control of your emotions will really help you respond thoughtfully, not react impulsively. How do we develop it? The 5-second rule. When the emotions runs very, very high, take 5 seconds before responding. This particular pause will give you time to think and choose your words very carefully. Emotion reset cues. Identify the physical actions that are calming you, like squeezing a stress ball, stepping outside for the fresh air, or even splashing the water on your face. Next we have is a scenario rehearsal. Now visualize emotionally challenging situations and rehearse calmly composed responses. Practice the trains your brain to handle such situations in a better way. The social skills build a strong relationship. Great social skills will help the leaders foster the collaboration and the trust. How do we develop it? The compliment challenges. Make it a habit to give at least one specific compliment to a team daily. This will not only inspire them but energize them. Like, for example, your presentation was very clear and engaging. I loved it. How you caused and used the examples to make your point is really commendable. Then, a silent observation is also very important. In the team meetings, observe without speaking for the first few minutes. Notice the group dynamics, which is there, who is speaking, who is holding back. Use this insight to encourage the balanced participation. Now, the next we are going to talk about is the conflict role playing. Practice the resolving hypothetical conflicts with a very trusted colleagues. Take turns playing both a leader and a team member to a better understand perspectives. Next we have is a motivation, igniting the passion and the drive. The leader and the strong motivation inspire their team to achieve the goals. How do we develop it? The why exercise. Regularly remind yourself and your team why their work matters. Share the personal stories and examples of how the team efforts make a difference. Success boards. Create a visual board of team achievements, completed projects, milestones, positive feedback. Place it wherever visible to keep the motivation very, very high. The micro milestone celebration. Break the large goals into a smaller steps and celebrate each one. Even a very simple great job team can keep your morale up. The bonus techniques to boost the overall EI. Emotional checkpoints. Set the reminders during a day to pause and reflect on your emotions. Ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? How is it affecting my actions? The body scan meditation. Spend a few minutes daily focusing on how your body feels. The tight shoulders, a racing heart. This will help you link the physical sensation to your emotional states. Then you have a reverse mentorship. Pair with someone from a different background or perspective to learn how they see the world. This will broaden your emotional and social understanding of the things. Develop the emotional intelligence takes practice, but with this unique and practical techniques, as we have discussed right now, the leaders can again build a very stronger self-awareness, empathy, emotional control, social skills, and also the motivation. Now, these skills empower the leaders to create a very positive, productive work environment where the teams feel valued, supported, and inspired to succeed. Now, the practical application and the case studies in emotional intelligence is what we are going to discuss in the Indian perspectives. The emotional intelligence is a very crucial aspect in India's diverse and dynamic work culture, where the leaders often navigate a mix of hierarchic traditions and the modern collaborative approaches. So, the following scenarios and the exercise are adapted to the Indian context, integrating the cultural nuances, the workplace dynamics, which is very unique to the region. The first is your real world scenario. Let's take a scenario example. Priya, a project manager at the Indian IT company, is leading her team through a very critical software deployment for a client. Unexpectedly, there are some technical glitches that delay a timeline. The team, composed of the individuals from the diverse cultural and linguistic backgrounds, is stressed and frustrated. Now, Priya's approach using an EI, acknowledging the challenges. The Priya begins by holding a team meeting, recognizing the stress the team is under. She uses the culturally appropriate language and the expressions, ensuring that everyone feels heard and respected. Priya measures the team that they are in this together, emphasizing a sense of unity. Active listening. She encourages each team member to share their concerns in a language that are most comfortable with, breaking any communication barrier. Priya listens attentively, showing empathy and respect for the diverse viewpoints. Providing a support. Priya arranges the additional resources, including a technical expert, to resolve the glitches. She offers the flexible hours, especially to the team members, balancing the work with the family responsibilities, a common scenario in India. Maintaining the composure. Priya remains calm and optimistic, avoiding a blame. She focuses on the actionable solutions, such as prioritizing the critical task and revising the deployment timelines in collaboration with their clients. Analysis and reflection. The discussion of the questions for the participants. How did Priya, emotionally intelligent approach, fosters the collaboration amongst a diverse team? This is the question you can ask from the participants, and if you are teaching to the students, you can ask this particular questions from the student, that what was that particular technique which is fostering the collaboration amongst the diverse team. Secondly, what culture or the workplace dynamics unique to India might have been affected if Priya had reacted with the frustration or the anger. Now, there are some key points for discussion, like the respect for diversity. Empathy and active listening are very crucial in India's multilingual and multicultural teams. Family sensitivities. Offering the flexibility demonstrates the understanding of the Indian family commitments, boosting the morale and the loyalty. The collaborative problem solving. Effective communication during the crisis builds the trust and maintains the client relationships. The role-playing exercises provide the participants with a scenario that reflect a very common leadership challenges in Indian workplaces, allowing them to practice the EI-based responses. Now, coming on to the setup, we have to divide the participants into a pair or small groups. We need to assign the role, such as who is a leader, who is a team member, provide a particular scenario card tailored to the Indian context. The allotted time to be given to each one is 5 to 7 minutes for each group to role play. Another example scenario which can be discussed to have a practical insight of this particular emotional intelligence and the leadership is addressing and declining performances. A team member balancing the work and preparing for the competitive exams like UPSC has shown a decline in performance. The leader must address the issue without discouraging them. Now, there are some leadership tips what we will discuss. As a leader, we have to start with empathy. That is, yes, I understand. Preparing for exams alongside the work can be very, very overwhelming sometimes. So, let's discuss how we can balance this. We have to offer certain solutions. Would adjusting your deadlines or redistributing the task help you manage both responsibilities better? Maybe we are discussing now the scenario 2, that is meditating the team conflicts and also mediating them in order to solve the conflicts. Meditation by an individual members can help them resolve the conflicts very nicely, and also as a leader, if you help them doing that meditation, which is very structured. Secondly, by mediating between the team conflicts. There are two team members from the different states with different cultural work styles. There is a clash over the task priorities. The leader must mediate to resolve the conflict. Now, there is a leadership tip what we are going to discuss right now. We need to respect the cultural differences. Both approaches have their own merits and demerits. A way to combine them for the best results, encourage the collaboration. Let's brainstorm how we can integrate both the ideas to meet and the project goals. Scenario number 3. There is a constructive feedback in the hierarchical teams. A junior employee hesitant to speak very openly due to the cultural respect for hierarchy has made repeated errors. The leaders must provide a constructive feedback while encouraging the confidence. There is a leader tip. Use a very respectful language. You have shown a greater potential, and I would like to help you to improve these particular areas. What we can do is we can help them build their trust, like feel free to ask certain questions, share the concerns anytime. Your growth is very important for the team. Now, there are certain instructions for the leaders during a role play. Active listening. Show a very genuine interest by paraphrasing or asking and clarifying the questions. The example is that it sounds like you are feeling stressed about the meeting, both work and the personal commitments. How can I support you? We have to show certain empathy, that is, acknowledge the emotions considering the cultural sensitivities. The example here is, I understand how the family obligations can sometimes make your work very challenging. So let's find a balance. We need to also maintain a composure, that is, respond very calmly even if the tensions are very high. This situation is very tough, but let's focus on the solutions to move forward. We also need to provide certain actionable solutions, offer the practical steps to address the situation challenging. So let's find a balance. Maintain a composure, respect very calmly even if the tensions are very high. So this situation is very tough, and let's focus on the solutions to move forward. We also need to provide certain actionable solutions, offer certain practical steps to address that solution. Like, let's adjust your workload for now, revisit your progress in a week's time. After the role playing, bring the participants together to reflect on their experiences. What strategies worked well in the Indian context? What challenges did you face in adapting your approach? How did the cultural factors influence your response? So, adaptability is the key. The Indian workplaces often combine the hierarchical structures with the collaborative practices, requiring the leaders to balance the authority and also the empathy. The sensitivity to diversity. Understanding the linguistic, cultural, and the regional differences is very essential for fostering the harmony. Encouraging an open dialogue. Create a very safe space for the team members to share their concerns is a vital thing in overcoming the hesitancy rooted into the hierarchical norms. Now, when you talk about India, in India, complex and the diverse workplaces landscape and emotionally intelligent leadership is a very game changer. By practicing the cultural awareness approaches through a real world like scenarios, the role playing, the leaders can actually strengthen their ability to connect, inspire and support their teams very effectively. Now, these strategies not only foster a better relationships but also drive the productivity and innovation in any approaches. Emotional intelligence is a vital component of effective leadership, helping the leaders navigate their relationship, inspire the teams, and foster a very positive environment work culture. However, applying the EI in the real world scenarios can be very challenging. So this section expands on the difficulties the leaders face when integrating the EI into their approaches and offers the detailed solutions which are tailored for the modern dynamic workplaces. So now we are going to discuss about some limitations, certain challenges in this regard, that is the leadership and the EI. Now sometimes the emotions can be overwhelming, and sometimes balancing of the emotional awareness and the data driven insights is lopsided. Sometimes the practical steps would you take is not rational at all. Certain risk assessment can be wrong sometimes. There are certain cultural differences in the emotional expressions, that is when you are talking to a multicultural, multinational variations in the emotional expressions and interpretations, sometimes there can be a huge misunderstanding. So we need to develop a very culturally sensitive environment, involve certain practical steps like incorporating the cultural intelligence cue for the training into leadership development programs. We need to hold together a team building session, adapt the communication methods which are very good. We need to be very culturally very sensitive. We have to develop certain scorecards. We have to have certain cultural empathy. We need to balance the empathy and authority. So these kind of solutions will actually set the boundaries and set the ball rolling, and there has to be a unique expansion, the training simulations and impact the assessment. So we have to work on the deficiencies in this regard, and the unique expansion and managing stress in the crisis situation, and also building certain emotional resilience can be a key to success. So some monitoring programs, some mindful stress techniques, cultural intelligent training, scenario based trainings, EI focused coaching, gamified EI development, real time emotional analytics, team emotional health checkups, customized EI plans, crisis simulation training, storytelling, peer learning, and leadership retreat programs. Also working on their behavioral insights and analytics can also give certain best solutions in this regard and make your organization more adaptable, employee oriented, who's able to manage the crisis in a best possible way, enhance the workplaces, increase the retention rate and boost the productivity. Thank you so much.